Right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for people being here in person and people being online. I am very pleased to be hosting our annual general meeting for Defeat Duchenne Canada. My name is Brian Atkinson, who is suffering from a cold, but I will get over it. And I am the board chair of Defeat Duchenne. I've been on the board for a few years in a director role, and I stepped into the board chair role in 2023. First, I want to acknowledge our former CEO, Lisa McCoy, who was the former CEO of Defeat Duchenne, decided to step down from her role in the organization. And I wanted to just thank her for her contributions to organization, helping us evolve, helping us fully form the team. And a lot of the things I will cover today were supported by and led by Lisa with the support and or led by the team. So I'm happy to share that. None of the things I'm presenting are things that I did. Someone else did. So I'll be presenting on behalf of her and the organization. So I'm Brian Atkinson, as I said. Just a funny story to start the AGM. I got halfway to London yesterday. I live in Oshawa and realized I didn't have any shoes. So you're all going to enjoy my new shoes this evening. I had to buy this morning. I was wearing sandals. And all the way to the golf course, I can't wear sandals and socks. So I decided I need to go buy some new shoes. I know. Thank you, Serena. I should have just done that.
There are rules.
Yes, but they're very comfortable shoes. So thank you, London, for the shoes. I appreciate it. I am the board chair, very happy to be the board chair. I'm a proud father of two daughters. And I actually had a close friend of mine whose son died at childbirth from, my grandson died at childbirth from Duchenne. So I have a personal connection to the disease. So before we get started, I have a couple of housekeeping items to share with you. So again, firstly, thank you for people here in person in London and for those on the phone. There's several guests attending either in person or online. And again, a big, huge welcome to everyone for being here this evening. And we put the people online on mute, just in case there's any background noise. Not that we don't want to hear from you, but we're trying to manage being in person and being online, which is tricky. So we have put you on mute. Unfortunately, we will not be able to take any questions this evening, not because we don't like questions, we just don't have time. So if you do have any questions or want more information, please email your requests to info@defeatduchenne.ca, and a member of our very talented team will respond to you as soon as possible. If you experience any technical difficulties this evening, you can also email info@defeatduchenne.ca, and we'll do our best to help you to get back online. So we have a compelling agenda this evening, which is the culmination of the team, the volunteers, the board's dedication and work over this last year. On that note, let's take a look at the agenda. So we're going to head into the heart of our work. I think that's really important, is we're going to have a family story. I'll provide you some board updates. We'll go over some of the highlights from our 2024-2028 strategic plan. We do have a new booklet that's out actually after the first year of our strategic plan, which is on your table, which has been put together by the team. So you'll see some of the areas of focus over the last year. So please feel free to read through that. We will also have a digital copy of that coming soon. We're going to talk a bit about the 30th anniversary celebration. And happy to report that John Davidson is here this evening after his long walk and in good health. I asked him how it went. He said he had a really good 13-hour sleep afterwards. So congratulations, John, on that big accomplishment. Really proud of you on behalf of the board. I think it's fantastic that you did that. Really good reminder for all of us. And then we'll have a thank you and good night. So we'll kick off this evening with a story from just one of our many inspirational Duchenne families, cover some administrative business and share highlights, and then we'll get into more about our strategic plan. So I'm going to ask our speaker to come up, Saja, to speak about her experience with Duchenne and her family story. Thank you very much. Come on up.
Let's say good evening, everyone, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about something very close to my heart. A cause that affects thousands of families around the world, Duchenne muscular dystrophy. My name is Saja Alwanian, and tonight I'm here to tell you about someone very special to me, my little cousin Adam D, as well as the fundraiser I organized at St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic Secondary School to raise awareness and support for this cause. In 2019, my family's lives changed forever. Adam was just 5 years old when he was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, a rare and progressive genetic disorder that weakens the muscles over time. At first, we didn't understand the full weight of what this diagnosis meant. We knew something was different. As a baby, Adam broke his leg, and it took way longer than it should have to heal. We thought his delays were all tied to that injury, but as time went on, the signs added up. The falling, the fatigue, the struggles with movement. When he finally got the diagnosis, it felt like the ground had been pulled out from under us. Watching Adam get weaker as the years go by has been heartbreaking. It's incredibly painful to see your baby cousin face a battle you know that none of us can fight for him, and a battle we can't fix or make go away. It's hard to describe the pain of watching someone you love lose pieces of their strength day by day. Over the past few years, we've seen Adam's calves grow larger, which we find is a symptom of Duchenne, and we've watched as he's fallen more and often and started needing help just to get back up. And through it all, we've also watched him grow more frustrated and more aware of the things he's being forced to give up. For a long time, my cousins and I didn't fully grasp what Adam was going through. We were kids too, but as we've gone older, we've come to understand just how much has been taken from him, not just his strength, but pieces of his childhood. It's difficult to witness and harder to accept what Adam is going through, especially knowing that there is no cure. And yet, with all of that, Adam still shines. He has the kind of contagious laughter that fills a room and makes you forget just for a moment that anything is wrong. He has a light inside of him that Duchenne can't and will not dim. He's passionate, he's brave, and he's obsessed with Cristiano Ronaldo. And he dreams of being a soccer star just like him. And even though that dream may look different now, he hasn't stopped dreaming. And I want to fight for that dream and for Adam. And that hope and fight for his dreams inspired me to do something. This year, I organized a fundraiser at my school, St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic Secondary School, called Capture the Flames. It was a Capture the Flag tournament, and it was more than just a game. It was a way for us to come together as a school and support a cause bigger than ourselves, and to stand with kids just like Adam and Jesse. I'm so proud to say that we raised $950, and even more than the money we raised awareness. We shared Adam and Jesse's stories, and we lit a spark within our school community. Because Duchenne may be powerful, but so is love, so is community, and so is hope. What makes this even more personal is that my family has been walking this path for longer than we even realized. Long before Adam's diagnosis, my mom and her siblings went to Saunders Secondary School with Jesse Davidson, a local boy who also had Duchenne. They walked for Jesse, they raised funds, and they knew the courage that it took. And years later, when my mom was in university, she worked closely with a professor studying Duchenne muscular dystrophy. She studied it, she supported the research, and still, she never imagined her own nephew would one day be affected by it. It feels like this cause has followed our family for years, and now it's become our story too. But stories like Adam's and Jesse's are full of hope, because while Duchenne takes, it also brings people together. Communities, families, schools, strangers, all working towards one goal, a cure. Adam has taught me more about strength than any class or book or teacher ever could. And I will keep speaking, keep organizing, and keep showing up because he deserves that. And because even though Duchenne may steal a part of his childhood, it will never take his dreams away. And that is why I am here. For Adam, for Jesse, for every child with Duchenne who still dares to dream big. Thank you for listening, for caring, and standing with us.
Thank you, Saj. That was a really powerful story, but I appreciate you coming up and sharing that with us. And the connection with your mom, it's interesting. It's a small world, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's scary. So now let's just shift our focus to how we do what we do, and that's through the leadership, guidance, and unwavering support of our dedicated and visionary volunteers on the Defeat Duchenne Canada Board of Directors. These folks are responsible for steering our ship, as we say, overseeing the strategic direction of the organization, ensuring that it operates in a financially sustainable and effective manner, and providing oversight and guidance to the small but mighty staff team. They are the backbone of the organization, and their contributions are essential to our success. So I want to take a moment to thank you, our board of directors in 2024. So we have part of the officer team is Richard Beattie, our board treasurer. Excuse me, sorry. Nikki Kennedy, our board secretary, and Dale Cheeseman, our investment committee chair. And then we have our directors, Tom Campelli, Dale Cheeseman, Frank DeRoche, Dr. Lisa Hoffman, who is the chair of the Research, Funding, and Advisory Committee, as we call RFAC, Ted Lindsay, Dr. Hans Lockmuller, Nellie Rumscheit, and Doyle Steinke. And also our honorary member, John Davidson. So now I want to take a moment to recognize a few of our board members that are moving off the board this year. So 3 of our 2024 board members will be departing, and at this time, I'd like to take a moment to thank them for their opportunity for contributing to the organization. So Frank DeRosier has been 12 years of service on the board, so let's give Frank a round of applause. We will have this lovely gift for Frank. My fingerprints all over it. You have to polish it after. I'm sorry, no one wants that. So lovely contribution and recognition for Frank. So thank you, Frank, for your guidance and leadership. As I said earlier in the board meeting today, that I'm glad that we had you stay on for an extra year to help us and guide us. And your 12 years of service are really appreciated and recognized. So thank you very much for that. And second is Ted Lindsay. So Ted Lindsay has 10 years of service with the board. I know that Ted Lindsay recently helped out, although he's left the board, helped out with some of the publishing that was involved in promoting John's Walk. So let's take a moment to recognize Ted, please. So this is, again, a lovely recognition of their efforts. I'm sorry, that owl is probably chasing me, right, Rochelle? I'm not supposed to move. But an owl camera here that's chasing me. So. Did we miss someone? Sorry, did I? No, we missed anyone on the board? Okay.
Sorry, Bonnie wasn't recognized on the slide prior. My apologies.
Oh, okay. And Bonnie, with our board directors. Thank you very much. So just a couple things about Defeat Duchenne Canada before we go on to the new slate of board directors. Defeat Duchenne Canada was founded 30 years ago by the Davidson family, who's in this room today, and is driven by their unwavering dedication and support to make a difference. And that's why I think these family stories are so important for us. One of the things we used to do at the board meetings is we would start every board meeting with a family story. And I had my one-on-ones this year with the board members, and I said, do you have any feedback or things we could do differently on the board? And for some reason along the way, we stopped doing the family stories. I'm not sure why. It wasn't intentional. I think it just change of people. And so they're like, bring back the family stories. So going forward in our new boards meetings happening in the fall, going forward, we'll have a family story at every meeting. I think it's really important to remind us of why we do the work that we do. So along with that, when you have people leave the board, you welcome new people onto the board. So this evening, the following new slate of officers was officially approved at our board meeting held prior to tonight's annual general meeting. And on behalf of our entire organization, we want to thank each of these skilled and committed volunteers for sharing their time, expertise, and leadership, and want to welcome them to the board. So we have John Davidson. He's a new guy on the block. No. So John Davidson is, of course, our founder. We're honored to continue benefiting from his guidance and vision as our founder. And John's unwavering commitment, as obvious by the walk he did last week, and connection to our mission, providing valuable continuity and inspiration as we move forward. And John had said to me a few weeks ago that he made a commitment to his son and he wants to see this commitment through, and that really touched my heart, John. So I really welcome you back. So also want to recognize and welcome Eric Morden. My order is different than here, sorry. So I'm just trying to follow the order. I've met Eric many times at family forums. Eric is a young man living with Duchenne who is graduating this year with his Bachelor of Science in Biology and a minor in Disability Studies. He currently volunteers on our Duchenne Family Advisory Committee and serves as Director of Communications for the Carleton University Biology Society. His lived experience in advocacy work will offer a powerful voice for our board and our community. So welcome to the board, Eric. Really happy to have you on the board. Katie Schultz. So Katie is a devoted Duchenne mother and a lawyer specializing in insurance litigation. She is a founding partner of her law firm and an adjunct professor at Brock University. She is also an active board member and volunteer with Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital Foundation and Music Heals. The Bigger Endowment for Muscular Dystrophy also. Katie brings a wealth of experience in fundraising, governance, and event planning. Welcome to the board, Katie.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Dr. Tushar Shakya. Dr. Tushar is currently the Chief Operating Officer of the Canadian Cardiovascular Society, with prior leadership roles at Canadian Science Publishing, Health Canada, and the Canadian Institute of Health Research, also known as CIHR. As a trained researcher with expertise in health policy and rare disease strategy, he brings deep insight and innovation to our governance and our board overall. So welcome, Dr. Tushar.
Thank you.
So formally, these board members were voted in at the previous board meeting, but they will start with us in our next board meeting, and we welcome them all to the board. So congratulations. So let's take a moment to reflect on all the progress we've made in our first year of our strategic plan. This past year has been one of transformation, momentum, and a renewed commitment. A foundational year that set the stage for the ambitious goals we've set for the future. I'll begin with a brief organizational update, and then you'll hear directly from members of our dedicated team who have been working tirelessly to advance our mission through each of the plan's strategic pillars. Together, their efforts represent the heart of the work, as I said earlier, and the impact of your support. So over the past year, Defeat Duchenne Canada has experienced a meaningful period of transition. We've said farewell to some team members. We've also welcomed new team members, and their contribution that people have left a lasting impact. So Lisa McCoy, who served as CEO since 2023, brought passion to her role, particularly in the areas of advocacy and engagement. We thank her for her leadership of the organization and wish her all the best in her next chapter. As we look to the future, the board of directors is working diligently and thoughtfully to identify and recruit the next leader for the organization who will lead with vision and purpose. In the interim, our dedicated team remains supported by engaged board members and expert committees to ensure continuity and progress. We want to reassure you, our community, that this transition will not slow down the momentum that we've already built. As we enter the second half of the year and heading into the second year of our 5-year strategic plan, our focus remains clear. We will continue driving research, advocacy for access to treatments, and standing with every family member affected by Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Rick Moss, who also retired last year but continues to show up to our meetings. I'm just joking, Rick, I love you. Well, Rick has stepped back from the day-to-day operations. It's like Hotel California. Once you come, you can't leave, right? Rick continues to be an active and invaluable contributor through various committees and remains a tremendous source of support for our team and for myself also. Thank you, Rick. We also mark the retirement of Allison Davidson, whose dedication to our database and internal systems provided vital structure behind the scenes. We hope she's enjoying a well-deserved and joyful first year of her retirement. Allison Boyce moved on to an exciting opportunity at York University after many years of committed service as our Director of Philanthropy. Her thoughtful approach to donor and family relationships will be deeply missed. And Kate Foster, who many of you know, transitioned into a role with St. John Ambulance, and we've already had the pleasure of collaborating with her on John's Walk, which was awesome. So again, Hotel California example, you never leave. We know she continues to bring her trademark energy and expertise to her team. And finally, Judy Wiles will be departing her role as Director of Research and Advocacy at the end of June. But we are working with Judy to work on a part-time arrangement that she will help us through some of our research work. But Judy has reimagined our research and advocacy pillars with bold thinking, deep knowledge, and unstoppable enthusiasm. So again, thank you to this team of talented people for their contributions to Defeat Duchenne. This brings us to our current staff team at Defeat Duchenne Canada, a group of dedicated, passionate individuals who continue to move our mission forward every single day. We are thrilled to celebrate the return of Rochelle Tenhoff. Welcome back, Rochelle. Next time we came back from maternity leave, Rochelle has jumped back in with both feet and continues to play a vital role in keeping us aligned to our strategic plan. She ensures our communications, both internal and external, are clear, guided, and intentional. Rochelle has returned on a part-time basis and is now sharing her role with Bobby Vasher. It's a great combination. They have very complementary skill sets. It's awesome to see in action. We're equally excited to announce that Bobby Vasher has agreed to stay on with Defeat Duchenne Canada and a part-time basis and is now job sharing the Director of Marketing role in communications. We're also pleased we were able to retain Bobby's talents and leadership as Rochelle transitioned back into the organization. Rafael Fernandez, here at the front, is the heartbeat of Defeat Duchenne Canada. Her support touches every corner of the organization. She works with lots of energy and excitement and commitment. It often feels like there's two of you. We are endlessly grateful for her knowledge, drive, and positive spirit. Raphael, thank you for being such an incredible addition to the team this past year, and we look forward to working with you in years to come. We also welcome Jordan Hamilton, who has already made meaningful strides in our fundraising efforts, which is an important part of our work, helps drive our research. His drive, expertise, and collaborative spirit have been a great asset to the team, and we look forward to continuing to build on that momentum in the months ahead. And finally, the newest member of our team, William Marchand, who's here in the room with us this evening, who just started last William. He started last week with the Whirlwind introduction to John's 30th anniversary walk, and he came back on the next day. So it was good. So he did say to me in our one-on-one recently that he can't believe he got to participate at such a critical time, coming in when the walk's here, walking with John, and then for the AGM meeting this evening. So thank you for jumping in, and you have with such enthusiasm, William, and being such a great team player out of the gate. We're thrilled to have you on board and can't wait to see all that we'll accomplish together, especially the family forum coming up. So together, this team is committed to advancing our mission, and we know their work will continue to shape a stronger future for all our families affected by Duchenne. And we're really happy and fortunate to have such talented people on the team. So big round of applause for the team. Taking my time. So now that we've taken a high-level look at the year, and you've heard from me a lot of Brian talking up here, I want to turn our attention to some of the specific highlights from 2024 and ask our team to present those highlights. So first, I'd like to hand it over to the team members who bring the mission to life every day, starting with our Director of Research and Advocacy, Judy Wiles, who is on the line, I believe. So over to you, Judy.
Thanks very much, Brian. Hello, everyone. Nice to see some familiar faces. So in 2024, we took necessary steps to strengthen and refine our advocacy efforts. We did this by having quite a few meetings and listening directly to the voices that matter the most, the families living with Duchenne across Canada. Our updated advocacy plan puts lived experiences at the heart of our work, ensuring the voices of individuals and families guide every step we take. The plan advocates for equitable accessibility from province to province and supports our ongoing fight to gain access to affordable treatments across Canada. We consulted with the families, donors, and people with Duchenne to see how they wanted to direct our research grant initiatives. This resulted in some very exciting changes. We've identified different streams, allowing us to focus on research areas, different areas of research where it can have the most significant impact to accelerate progress toward better treatments and ultimately a cure, and the potential for us to fund for-profit clinical research initiatives that align with our mission and offer meaningful advancements for individuals and families affected by Duchenne. The strategy will continue to shape how we evaluate and support emerging treatment research opportunities. With the announcement of our upcoming commitment of $18 million towards research in 2025, in addition to the 8 research programs already funded, we're pleased to invest over $900,000 in 2024 to launch 2 groundbreaking research projects. Dr. Francesco Montoni is exploring AAV gene therapy to address brain dystrophin deficiency in Duchenne. And Dr. Alan Stinsky with the University of Ottawa is leading a Canadian-based project titled Unlocking Therapeutic Potential, exploring gut microbiota functionality for novel and cost-effective D&D treatment, investigating how gut health affects disease progression.
Great. Thank you, Judy, for some of the highlights. I'd like to all now turn it over to our Director of Development, Jordan Hamilton, to bring you an update on his work.
Thank you, Brian. 2024 was an instrumental year in that it concluded the Strategic Philanthropy Plan 2021 to 24, those 4 years of work, and our focus to develop a strong culture of philanthropy where all staff collectively recognize that money moves mission. Something we learned from John Davidson throughout all his decades of experience is that without incredible donor support, we cannot achieve our mission. 2024 was also a transformational year with an ambitious goal. So this year, in 2024, we hoped to achieve the first year where we raised $1 million. Unfortunately, slower donation revenue in both Q1 and Q2 of 2024 meant that that goal was not met. A total donation revenue equaled nearly $870,000. But there's lots to celebrate. Some of those celebrations include changes we made into Q4 and Q3, resulting in second half revenue growth of 12% year over year. And there was a lot of incredible things that contributed to that. The director development position, for example, was created. The coordinator engagement and support staff position was also created. And efforts to improve the walk led to a record level of revenue. I'm very proud that we created a stewardship matrix and were able to implement that in 2024. And direct mail fundraising was enhanced, resulting in a 23% increase in the 2024 Fall Giving Tuesday and Matching campaign revenue. So that's a 23% increase. And finally, a plan was developed to grow legacy and planned giving beginning in 2025 Q2. So lots of success that we can build on. Now, I want to give credit where it is due, and without signaling anyone out, I want to give credit to all the family fundraisers who contributed so much to our mission in 2024. Without their incredible support and their courage, their creativity in creating these incredibly inspiring community-building fundraisers, we would not have achieved the success we've achieved. So on behalf of all the staff, thank you for the incredible passion you shared in putting together family fundraisers and for helping achieve our collective mission to defeat Duchenne. Without your support, we could not achieve it. So thank you all.
Great. Thank you, Jordan, for sharing the highlights of that work. And I would ask Rochelle to come up and talk a bit about community engagement highlights. Okay, go for it.
Wonderful. Well, everyone knows I was on maternity leave last year, so I can't take credit about all this amazing work that happened. It really was under the guidance of Bobby Basher that joined us here tonight, but is on a much needed vacation after some very busy time. So I just want to give credit where credit's due and make sure that she is recognized for all of the amazing work in 2024. So again, we're like Brian said, we're guided by the strategic plan, and one of the goals of this organization really from the get-go was building this family of families that you'll hear John talk about quite often. And CNDR, the Canadian Neuromuscular Disease Registry, estimates there's approximately 800 families living with Duchenne in Canada. When I first started about 6 years ago, we had touch points with under 100. And now today we're almost at 400. So the past year, 2024, we enhanced that national reach with families by 17%. Rare Disease Day that happens every February. So if you don't know about that yet, I hope that you'll join us again in February 2026. And what we launched in 2024 is a family storytelling map online. So what that is for families across the country to submit their own journey with Duchenne, and families are encouraged to do that either via video, via written testimonial, by pictures, etc. And then we get a nice big picture of all the families across the country. And then new families that join us, we always direct them there to hear the voice of other families living with Duchenne across Canada. So some stats here around 5 new stories being shared, and you'll see another like nice little heat map here of some of the stories across Canada, but this is just newly launched, so the numbers are still small. We have a lot more work to do here. But absolutely, we encourage all families to submit their stories, not just on Rare Disease Day, but throughout the year as well. Another big milestone for us at Defeat Duchenne Canada is Duchenne Awareness Month, which happens in September in Canada. It is recognized federally. And then we also participate in World Duchenne Awareness Day, and that is on September 7th every single year. So I hope it's in everyone's calendar. And part of that movement internationally is to light up landmarks in Rome in red. We have Niagara Falls here in Canada in red. This is our own City Hall from here in London, Ontario, and some great media exposure through that event every year. So in 2024, there were 2 national articles spotlighting World Duchenne Awareness Day in Canada, 5 local feature stories, and that's again where we try to get the families involved as much as possible and volunteers across the country to connect with their local media and help to share their story with local media about what World Duchenne Day is, and helping to raise awareness of this disease nationally. And again, connected with new individuals and families, helping to combine to that 17% of new families reached. This is more my geeking out with Bobby about our social media website presence. I know it's not really of interest to many people, but we do have presence on all these 4 platforms. And so if you're not following us, please do. You'll see a lot of work goes into maintaining them and really helping to build awareness nationally and internationally through these platforms of our organization. So this past year in 2024, we saw an audience growth of almost 11% and an engagement increase of 14%. So it's pretty good engagement across it. And then again, more of us geeking out about our website traffic, social media website going hand in hand. And we saw a number of unique users, so that's kind of one-time users, decrease, but the average time that those people spent on our site increase. So to us, that tells a really relevant story here, that we're getting the people that want to be on our site engaged in the content on our site, staying for longer, hopefully taking action on our site, like donating or learning more about Duchenne and the resources available to families. And then again, that speaks to the user engagement rate as well, is that more people are being able to access the resources that they need as they spend more time on our website. I think that's a
Great. Thank you very much. I seem to be the transition person at the moment. That's why I come in here adding a little value. William, I think you're up next, correct? Yes. So we're talking about our education and support highlights.
Right. So I would like us to take a moment to reflect on one of our more memorable events of the past year, the 2024 Family Forum that was located in Ottawa, Ontario. We welcomed 184 families and guest speakers, both in person and online, making it one of the most attended family forums that we've had. This event was made possible through an incredible partnership with the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, and working with our incredible sponsors and volunteers. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. It's okay. I'm allowed to be nervous. I'm but I'm a little nervous. So throughout the day, we heard from leading clinicians and researchers who shared with us the latest developments in Duchenne science. The knowledge and the optimism that was shown really sparked some hope across the community. But it was really the lived experience, the voices that came forward from folks living with Duchenne. So Eric Morden, one of our new board members, Braden Crane, and Terrence and Torrance Ho shared their powerful personal stories that resonated and really showed the strength, the courage, and resilience within our community. We were also honored to welcome Elijah Stacy, a global advocate and author. They shared a very inspiring story with us about their courage, resilience, purpose, and actions. This forum was a true reflection of what it means to be part of a family of families, and we are deeply deeply grateful for all those who made it possible. One of the most memorable moments from the 2024 Family Forum was a landmark announcement from Kai Pharmaceuticals. They shared their intention to submit oh my goodness, sorry. Gamma, thank you.
You're welcome.
Also known as sorry, thank you, folks. For Health Canada approval for early 2025. If successful, Egri would become the first ever approved treatment for Duchenne muscular dystrophy in Canada. A historic and long-awaited milestone for our community. It was deeply meaningful that Kai chose to share this news at our family forum. And where the event is centralized in family, collaboration, and hope. This moment was a powerful reminder of what can be accomplished through unified advocacy, and unwavering voices of families and supporters from across the country. It marks a step forward in our shared journey and a reason to stay hopeful for what is ahead.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize.
No need to apologize. No need to apologize. An example of words be right in. Do you want us to present? He goes, yeah, I'll present. So congratulations, you did a great job. Oh, good. Just one comment about one thing I've noticed a lot in the last year and a half is just the social media presence. I know you're made light of it, but every time I open up one of my socials, I see something about Duchenne Canada every single day, pretty much, which is a big change from years ago. So I think it is important this day and age. We have to be on social. We have to be promoting. But it's always really meaningful, the things that are shared and relevant. And like I was tracking John's walk because I was unable to go because I was under the weather. So it's great to track that online and see where he was along his route. And so just the power of social media is really incredible. So congrats to the team for increasing those numbers because they're not easy to increase. And I think people are spending more time on the site because the site has more resources than we were had before for families, which is a great thing too. Okay, now we're going to hear from Dale Cheeseman, who is our investment committee member, for an update on the investments.
Thanks, Brian. Good evening, everyone. It's good to see everybody again. I wasn't here last year, so there's definitely some new faces for me here this year. And good evening to everybody listening online. So I've been with the organization for about 5 years. I'm on the investment committee and the board. I'm also a proud team captain of Team Lucas. Gratuitous shout out to my nephew Lucas, who hopefully is listening online and he's from the Ottawa area. Luke, you're the man. So over to the fund. So normally this time of year, we would talk about performance over the past year, but given that it's such a sort of landmark year for the organization, I thought I would give a bit of a history lesson this time around. So as you can see from the first bullet point there, thanks to the amazing life work of our founder, John Davidson, back in July 2013, there was $10.4 million available for the initial injection into the fund. And that fund value currently stands at 12.8 million. Putting the numbers together, I came across what I consider to be sort of a milestone achievement for the fund itself. The chart at the bottom here, the top line is the actual dollar value of the fund through time, but this lower line that slopes down to the lower right tracks the withdrawals from the fund through time. And so, as is noted up above, in 2025, we will meet and exceed $10.4 million extracted from the fund to go towards research. So I think that's a pretty good soundbite for the fund this year.
Yeah.
Awesome. You start with 10.4 million, you take 10.4 million out, you're left with 12.8 million. What all that boils down to is that it's more than doubled over the last 12 years or so, realizing 8.18% on an annualized basis. I also threw in some other stats on the funds from performance stats. We'll get to those a little bit more in a little bit, but Maurer Investment Management is the firm we hired to manage the funds for us. I think it's fair to say that we were spoiled for several years and then ran into a bit of a rocky patch. But as you can see, on a year-to-date basis, we're already at 5.18%, and this is a balanced fund. 25 to 30% of the fund is in fixed income, and so we're off to a really good start this year. But as I said, there's a bit of a background story there. But before I get to that, we just jump ahead to the next slide quickly. So this gives you a better look at how the fund actually performed, because this is a look assuming that nothing was withdrawn from the fund. Pretty good upward sloping line for the most part. And as you can see here, 2022 or so, the fund took a pretty deep drawdown. Now, for anybody that remembers the markets around that time, central banks started hiking rates. Markets overall were in tough shape anyway. However, Maurer started sort of exhibiting some non-standard behavior for them, and the performance relative to peers started falling off quite a bit. So if we could push ahead to the next slide, I'll give that part of our story. A lot of numbers here on the screen for everybody. So this is probably a good column to look at first, performance quartile over the years. And as you can see, other than a little blip in 2016, we were pretty much spoiled by Maurer over the course of the first, let's call it 7-8 years of the fund. We were consistently in the top quartile, which allowed us to get to the point where we are now. Now, over the two right-hand columns, however, see here, fund minus benchmark. So this is a positive number there is how much we would have exceeded or fallen behind the benchmark index. And the far right-hand column is fund minus the top quartile. That's how much we would have met or exceeded the cutoff line to get into that top 25% of performance. So as you can see, COVID year 2020, we did just fine. But from starting in 2021, we started to notice some sporadic behavior from Maurer, and the performance really did fall off a cliff. As we came to learn, they were going through a lot of headcount turnover, some significant positions, portfolio management positions, senior leadership positions, and this started to show through in their performance. Now, what the investment committee does for the most part is meets with Maurer on a quarterly basis to review the investment returns. So when I first joined, coming off this string of top quartile results over the first several years, these were pretty easy meetings. We felt like we were being schooled almost with the returns that we were getting. But those meetings suddenly turned, I don't want to say dire, but they were definitely more tense. And in turn, when delivering this information back to the board, there were some tense meetings with the board as well, because of course, there's a lot of money at stake here. And the money goes to obviously to a very important purpose. And so we had conversations such as is Maurer still our team? Should we entertain the idea of splitting the fund into different investment managers, moving it all to a different investment manager, etc. But we stuck through it. We were seeing a change in sort of behavior in terms of getting back to the roots of choosing, prime root stocks, quality stocks, and the relative returns in different sectors of the portfolio started turning around. And finally, I'm pleased to say this year, we're starting to see some top quartile metrics again. And that's what I tried to show over here. So you can see, as of 30th April, month end, all the short-term metrics are really starting to turn around. And hopefully that sort of pattern continues. And if they continue on this track for the rest of the year, then we should start to see a lot of those longer dated metrics start to turn around as well. I mentioned the life-to-date annualized returns about 8.18%. Before this sort of slippage here back in 2020, that number was actually up in the high tens, around 10.5% or so. So again, I say up here that our what we expect is nothing but the best from them. We're hoping that they do return to top quartile performance, or at least stay there going forward. And on to the last slide. And so going forward, as I said, our number one role is to challenge Mauer, scrutinize their results, and make sure that they're giving us the return that we are paying for, essentially, and to make sure that we serve you, the revenue generators across the country, well, by making sure that the dollars that you raise are being managed properly, and that we continue to generate the kind of funds that we expect to put towards research. We also take our role seriously. We're going to continue to advise the board and Defeat Duchenne, generally speaking, about suitability and the size and the timing of withdrawals that we take from the fund. Those are often straightforward, but not always. And finally, just like all our committees, we take a proactive approach to making sure that we're constantly getting new qualified members on the committee so that we can perform the committee role properly and serve the organization well. That was a bit fast and furious, but again, so I think it's a pretty good, like I said at the beginning, it's a pretty good milestone year for the fund, and I hope that this time next year we can deliver even better news that the way this year started is also the way it ended. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a great update on the investments. And I know a great thanks to the investment committee for the work they do on monitoring the performance of our funds. I'd like to also welcome Katie Dembach, who is going to talk to us a bit about our audit, our annual audit. So come on down. Thank you. Our KPMG.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's always nice to be here at the CGM and hear the stories of what is happening beyond the numbers that I look at in the financial statements. It's really wonderful. It's my pleasure to be here tonight representing KPMG in my capacity as the external auditor for Defeat Duchenne Canada, which is legally entitled the Jesse Davidson Foundation. KPMG has completed the audit of the financial statements of the foundation as at and for the year ending December 31st, 2024, and has provided an audit findings report and a draft auditor's report to the board, which I understand they have approved just prior to this AGM. Now that the board has approved the financial statements, we will issue our final auditor's report. And I will just read that to you. I apologize. I don't have any leeway in this wording. It's not very exciting, but so the opinion audited the financial statements of the Jesse Davidson Foundation, which comprise the statement of financial position as at December 31st, 2024, the statement of operations and changes in fund balances for the year then ended, the statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, except for the possible effects of the matter described in the basis for qualified opinions section, which I will speak to briefly, of our auditor's report, the accompanying financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the foundation as at December 31st, 2024, and its results of operations, its changes in fund balances, and its cash flows for the year then ended, in accordance with Canadian accounting standards for not-for-profit organizations. And I refer to a basis for qualified opinion paragraph. What that says is that in common with many charitable organizations, the foundation does receive its revenue from cash donations, and it's very difficult to audit the completeness of those cash donations. So similar to previous years, we do qualify our report to say that there are no the statements present fairly in all material respects, with the caveat of these cash donations that it's very difficult to audit the completeness of. So that's very standard for foundations and charities to have that in their auditor's report. And that is it from me.
Great, awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Katie. So it's incredible 30 years of progress. It's incredible to see these pictures from back in time, and to know that John celebrated the 30 years last week with the walk. But it's important also to know that we've gotten here with the incredible contributions of our board, the community of volunteers, and the staff. We've reflected on the milestones we've achieved over this past year this evening, shared our vision for the next 4 years. But before we close, I believe it's important to recognize that none of us would be here. This would not be possible without the unwavering dedication and support of John and Shireen Davidson. In 1995, they launched Jesse's Journey, which laid the foundation for everything we do today, now known as Defeat Duchenne Canada, a national organization. Their continued support of the board and the team has been instrumental as we were reminded of their lasting impact during last week's walk for the 30th anniversary of the organization. And we're truly all honored to be part of your journey. So on behalf of the board and the staff and everyone here, thank you, and everyone online for attending. I want to thank everyone for joining our annual AGM. I know it's a lot of information packed into an hour, but I feel it's really important for us to stop and recognize the due diligence we're taking to run and lead the organization and the accomplishment of everyone involved in the organization. I would encourage you all to subscribe to our monthly e-newsletter, which is a fantastic read, by going to defeatduchenne.ca, and you receive the latest organizational updates, the family stories, and ways that you can get involved, and you can make a difference right into your inbox. And please, again, social presence, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Defeat Duchenne. So again, thank you all for coming this evening. We look forward to working with you throughout this next year, and look forward to being here next year in June, and the remainder and all the accomplishments or things to come in 2025. And we'll be back next year to celebrate all things 2025. I'll sign off now, so enjoy your evening online and in the room. Thank you very much.